Healthy eating consists of 6 principles, and in this video I'll go over the first and most important one, calorie balance. If you missed my previous video, which served as an introductory video to this mini-series, make sure to check it out, as it'll give you a good understanding of what this mini-series is about. Okay, so to refresh our memory, let's go over the definition of calorie balance. Calorie balance is the amount of calories you're consuming in relationship to how many calories you're burning. But for you to understand what this means, we have to answer the following question first. What are calories? Calories are used to measure the energy density of food. The more calories a given food has, the more energy it can provide to your body for body processes and physical activity. Okay, so now that you have a basic understanding of calories, let's talk about calorie balance. As I mentioned earlier, calorie balance is the amount of calories you're consuming in relationship to how many calories you're burning. The calorie consumption part we already took care of. That's how much food you eat. But what about the calorie burning part? Why is your body burning calories? You see, for your body to maintain basic physiological functions like respiration, circulation, thermoregulation, and so on, it needs to burn calories, which is the main reason why we eat food. Sure, a lot of us eat certain foods just because we like the taste of them, but the underlying reason why we eat anything is because food provides our body with energy that it can't get from anywhere else. This is why we get hungry. If we didn't, we simply wouldn't eat, and eventually our body would shut down due to lack of energy. The amount of calories your body burns to maintain itself is called the basal metabolic rate, which makes up about 70% of our total burned calories. Okay, but what makes up the other 30%? Physical activity. The more you move around on a daily basis, the more calories your body burns. This includes any kind of activity, not just exercise. Walking to the bathroom also burns a couple of calories. Okay, so now that you have a good understanding of what calorie consumption and expenditure means, let's go over the 3 types of states your body can be in regarding your calorie balance. The first is calorie maintenance, which is when you eat the same amount of calories you burn. The second is calorie surplus, which is when you eat more calories than you burn. And the third is calorie deficit, which is when you eat less calories than you burn. Okay, but why is making these distinctions important? This is where we can start talking about the importance of the principle of calorie balance and why it's more important than all the other principles combined. The reason why calorie balance is so important to health is because it controls the biggest variable that your diet has control over, your body weight. If you're in calorie maintenance, your body weight will remain stable because you're eating the same amount of calories you're burning. If you're in calorie surplus, you will gain weight because you're eating more calories than you're burning, and the excess calories will be stored in your body. But if you're in calorie deficit, you will lose weight because you're eating less calories than you're burning, and your body will burn its own tissue to fill the gap. In short, calorie balance is the only factor determining your body weight. You can take all the newest supplements, exercise every single day, and eat only healthy foods, but if you're consuming more calories than you're burning, you will gain weight. As sad as it may seem, there's just no way around thermodynamics. Okay, but what's so important about your body weight? Isn't this video about improving your health, not your physical appearance? It certainly is, but no matter how much body positivists will try to convince you that you're perfect regardless of how you look, your body weight has a significant impact on your health. To understand why this is the case, let's go over the health problems underweight people are likely to face. The first is malnutrition. Since underweight individuals typically don't consume enough calories to meet all of their survival needs, they can develop deficiencies in essential nutrients like proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals, which can lead to all sorts of health problems, many of which I'll be going over right now. The second is a weakened immune system. Since your body needs energy to fight off diseases, not getting enough of it can lower its ability to do so, making you more susceptible to getting sick and taking a longer time to recover. The third is bone fragility. Underweight individuals are likely to be deficient in calcium and vitamin D, which are needed for strong bones, so not getting enough of them can increase the risk of fractures of all kinds and the development of osteoporosis. The fourth is hormonal imbalances. Malnourishment can affect hormone levels, especially in women, whose menstrual cycles may become irregular or disappear altogether, while in men it can cause a drop in testosterone levels. And the fifth is chronic fatigue. Since calories literally are energy, not consuming enough of them can directly affect your energy levels, leading to your body turning on low power mode and conserving as many calories as possible. In short, it is possible to be too skinny, and it is bad for your health. But in the modern Western world, being underweight is not nearly as common as the opposite end of the spectrum, being overweight. In the US, about 2% of people are underweight, but overweight over 70%, which is more than 35 times as much. So losing weight is a far more important topic than gaining weight. But to understand why being overweight is bad for your health, let's go over some health problems overweight people are likely to face. The first is joint problems. High body weight literally weigh down on body structures like the knees and hips, leading to their faster deterioration. The second is cardiovascular diseases. Excess body weight is linked with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and chronic inflammation, all of which contribute to the development of cardiovascular diseases. The third is type 2 diabetes. High levels of body fat can cause insulin resistance, which can elevate your blood sugar levels and result in type 2 diabetes. And the fourth is respiratory issues. Excess body weight can limit lung function, block your airways, and restrict diaphragm movement, which can result in shortness of breath and sleep apnea. In short, it is possible to be too fat, and it is bad for your health. Okay, so now that you know the downsides of being underweight and overweight, let's answer the question you've been waiting for. How much should you weigh? Here's a chart that lists each height increment within the normal range and describes what weight range is typically related to the best health outcomes. If you're inside of your healthy weight range, and especially not at the bottom or top ends of it, you're likely very healthy. But if you're not in it, your health could likely benefit from an adjustment of your calorie balance. But before you go thinking that your health is maximized by being inside your healthy weight range, or that death is right around the corner by not being in it, here's a couple of things you need to know about your healthy weight range. The first is that it's an estimate and not an absolute figure. You're not unhealthy if you're outside of it, and for sure healthy if you're within it. If you're outside of it, you might very well be perfectly healthy, but as you get further and further out of it, the chances that you're still in your best health rapidly decline. The second is that even if your weight is in a healthy range, your health can still be improved by losing fat and gaining muscle. The third is that having extra muscle is not nearly as unhealthy as having extra fat. If you're over your healthy weight range but you're very muscular and quite lean, you're not going to be nearly at the same health risk as someone of the same weight but with much less muscle and more fat. And the fourth is that what really amplifies the negative health effects of your weight is time. The longer you've been underweight or overweight, the worse your health would typically be. Everything that we've talked about thus far results in the following implication. If your weight is not in the healthy range, the single best thing that you can do for your diet is adjusting your calorie intake. This means that you can violate every other principle of healthy eating by eating mostly junk food, failing to meet your macronutrient requirements, eating irregularly, not drinking enough water, and not taking any supplements, and still massively improve your health by adjusting your calorie intake. This extreme was illustrated by Dr. Mark Haub of Kansas State University when he ate the so-called Twinkie diet, lost 27 pounds in 10 weeks, and saw significant improvements in all health-related blood work. Of course, he also ate enough protein and macronutrients to meet minimum levels, but even though his diet was primarily composed of snack cakes, by remaining in a calorie deficit and losing weight, his health improved. I don't recommend you to try this diet, but we have to recognize that calorie balance is so important to health, it's literally more important than all the other principles combined. In short, calories are king, and how much you're eating is much more important than what you're eating. Period. Sure, if choosing healthier foods can help you eat less, which it certainly does, you're killing two birds with one stone. But keep in mind that since your body weight massively impacts your health, how many calories you consume is far more important than where those calories are coming from. Okay, so now that you have a good overall understanding of calorie balance, let's go over how you can improve your health if your weight is not in the healthy range. The solution for this is rather simple. Adjust your daily calorie intake. If you're underweight, consume more calories, but if you're overweight, consume less calories. You can also adjust your calorie expenditure by increasing or decreasing your physical activity. But since this video is about nutrition, we'll just stick to adjusting your calorie intake for now. This is best accomplished through checking how many calories you consume. But since tracking your calorie intake is a huge nuisance for the everyday person, you can feel free to skip to the practical recommendation part of the video if the thought of tracking every calorie you put in your body already drives you insane. Losing or gaining weight is possible without tracking your calories, but that's like flying a plane without any instruments. Sure, you can still see where you're going, but getting to your destination is going to be a bit more difficult than if you had them. Okay, so now that all recreational dieters have skipped ahead, let's talk about how to lose or gain weight the serious way, by tracking your calorie intake. The first thing we need to do is figure out how many calories you burn. You can do this by using online calorie calculators, but a more precise method is simply track how many calories you consume for a week and then divide the total number by 7 to get a daily average. If your weight remains stable during this time, this number is very close to how many calories you burn per day, but if it rises or falls, it's slightly over or below it. If you're within 10% of your goal weight, you can simply increase or decrease your daily calorie intake by 10% and you'll be at your goal weight within a few months. For example, if you burn 2,500 calories per day, you weigh 165 pounds, and your goal is 150 pounds, you'll be at your goal weight within a few months by eating 22 to 2,300 calories per day. Easy. But what should you do if you're more than 10% outside of your healthy weight range? Since it's incredibly unlikely that you're more than 10% under it, the following will apply only to those who are more than 10% over it. Okay, so let's say that your goal weight is 200 pounds, but currently you weigh 300 pounds. Should you just get your calorie intake linearly and drop all the way down to 200 pounds in one shot? You could, but that's probably not the best idea due to the concept of the settling point, which describes your body's tendency to pull you back up to a weight that it's familiar with by producing the following effects. The first is decreased metabolism, which means that your body will burn less calories at rest. The second is decreased NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is just a fancy way of saying that your unconscious physical activity will be reduced. And the third is extreme hunger, which means that food will be everything you can think about all day long. In short, losing large amounts of weight in one go is not a great idea because your body will do everything to resist further weight loss by decreasing its calorie expenditure and trying to get you to consume more calories. This is also what's called diet fatigue. Okay, but is there anything we can do to counter this? There is, and this tool is called maintenance phase. A maintenance phase is simply a period of time where you maintain your weight by increasing your calorie intake to reduce diet fatigue. In a sense, its sole purpose is to kill time, since time is the #1 determinant of how strongly your previous settling point will try to pull you back up. The longer you can maintain your new weight, the weaker and weaker the pull of your previous settling point will get until it disappears altogether. Once this happens and you feel comfortable at your new weight, you can start your next weight loss phase and repeat this process all over again until you reach your goal weight. In short, this is how huge weight loss is achieved. You lose weight until your diet fatigue gets really high, which for most people is about a 10% loss in weight. You take a maintenance phase, flush out the diet fatigue that you've accumulated, and you repeat this process until you're at your goal weight. Okay, so now that you know the basic theory behind weight loss, let's go over some guidelines before you get started. The first is that each weight loss phase should aim to lose no more than 10% of your body weight and be no longer than 3 months in duration to avoid excessive levels of diet fatigue. The second is that each maintenance phase should be equal in length to its preceding weight loss phase. There's no rush, and the longer you can maintain, the likely easier and more successful the next weight loss phase will be. The third is to aim to lose about 0.5 to 1% of your total body weight per week. Slower weight loss will lead to underwhelming results that may discourage you, while faster weight loss will lead to a much stronger pull of your settling point, which will increase your chances of falling off the wagon before you even reach a maintenance phase. The fourth is to plan your weight loss phases realistically to your life. Don't try to lose weight during holidays or on vacation, as the work of trying to resist the temptation to enjoy normal life can be needlessly high during such times. Instead, try to lose weight during times where you have to restrict yourself the least, as that'll massively increase your chances of successfully losing weight. And the fifth is to start building muscle. You might be thinking, building muscle? I just want to lose fat, not become a bodybuilder. Don't worry, you're not going to become a bodybuilder that fast. You see, the weight that you lose has to come from somewhere, and that somewhere is usually muscle and fat. If you don't work out, the muscle and fat relationship will typically be 1-to-1. By losing 10 pounds, you lose 5 pounds of muscle and 5 pounds of fat. But since muscle is much healthier than fat, your goal should be to maximize fat loss, minimize muscle loss, which is where working out enters the picture. By stimulating your muscles and making them grow, you shift the muscle loss and fat loss relationship much more to the fat side, meaning that in a worst case scenario, you'll lose much more fat than muscle. In the best case scenario, however, you might even build some net muscle while losing purely fat, which will do wonders for your health. The same happens for those who are looking to gain weight. By working out, they will gain much more muscle and much less fat than otherwise, so building muscle is good for both. Okay, so now that you know literally everything you need to know about losing large amounts of fat, let's talk about some practical recommendations that will help you consume fewer calories. The first is to consume more fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables, especially fresh ones, contain lots of fiber and water, which makes them very voluminous and low in calories. The second is to increase your protein intake. Protein has been shown to increase satiety, so by consuming more of your calories as protein, you can drastically reduce your hunger levels while still being in a calorie deficit. The third is to go easy on junk food. Junk food is very tasty and not that satiating for how many calories it has, so by eating less of it, you can reduce your daily calorie intake without feeling much hungrier. The fourth is to consume less liquid calories. Liquid calories are any kind of liquids that contain calories. Sodas, juices, energy drinks, milk, and so on. These drinks contain quite a lot of calories, but are not satiating in the slightest, so by consuming less of them or switching to calorie-free alternatives, you can easily decrease your calorie intake. And the fifth is to eat only when you're hungry and stop when you're full. By eating mostly healthy foods, following your body's hunger signals, and not stuffing yourself, you can easily lose weight without even tracking your calories. If you ever want to eat something, just ask yourself, would I eat a boiled egg right now? If the answer is yes, then you're hungry. But if it's not, then you're just craving something. Okay, so to summarize everything we've talked about thus far, let's answer each of the questions in this video. What are calories? Calories are used to measure the energy density of food. What is calorie balance? Calorie balance is the amount of calories you're consuming in relationship to how many calories you're burning. Why is calorie balance important? Calorie balance is important because it determines your body weight. By consuming more calories than you burn, you'll gain weight, but by consuming less calories than you burn, you'll lose weight. Why is your body weight important? Your body weight is important because being very underweight or overweight can lead to serious health problems. How much should you weigh? Here's a chart. What can you do if you're outside of your healthy weight range? Adjust your calorie balance. If you're underweight, you need to consume more calories than you burn. But if you're overweight, you need to consume less. I hope that you found this video valuable. And if you did, I'd greatly appreciate it if you left a like. You can also follow me on Instagram, where I post every single one of my workouts, to which the link is in the description. The next video will be about the second principle, which is food composition. So stay tuned, and until then, have an awesome day. Peace!